Welcome to Fun Factory Gaming. I preferred to let the hype for BF6 die down a bit and play a little more to see if that would change my opinion, but I still much prefer playing the old Battlefield 1. That's my opinion, but I feel I need to say it. In Battlefield 1, you had so many more weapons to choose from. The bolt-action rifles forced you to aim carefully and value every shot. There was tension. You could feel the recoil, the sound, the reload animations.
All squads attack now. Hold more objectives than the enemy, so our forces can take ground. Out.
We have taken Delta.
Then there are the graphics. Sure, Battlefield 6 might technically have better resolution or lighting on paper, but Battlefield 1 was prettier because of its art direction. The sunlight cutting through the fog, the mud on your boots, the smoke in the sky. It had a cinematic quality that made every battle feel like history in motion. Don't even get me started on the maps. Battlefield 1 had variety and personality. Deserts, forests, ruined cities, mountain passes, each one felt alive. They were perfectly balanced for both infantry and vehicles, and you really felt the chaos of war.
Objective Duff.
In Battlefield 6, the maps are very open and also tiny. Just a few vehicles in conquest mode. And about vehicles, Battlefield 1 nailed it. You had real selection. Light tanks, heavy tanks, armored cars, biplanes, bombers, attack planes, even cavalry. Each vehicle felt unique and dangerous in its own way. Flying different aircraft in Battlefield 1 really required skill. What made Battlefield 1 truly special, in my opinion, was the dedication the entire team put on the making of the game, in every aspect, like, for example, the sound design. It was phenomenal. Distant gunfire, soldiers shouting in different languages, the whistle before the charge. The music gave you chills. Even dying felt dramatic. It pulled you into its world in a way that Battlefield 6 simply can't. Battlefield 1 was perfect for me. Most importantly, Battlefield 1 was much more fun. It's crazy how a 2016 game is just of an objectively higher quality across all areas than a game made 9 years later. BF6 isn't bad, but it can't even be compared to BF1. Battlefield 6 has this plastic feel. Not sure how to describe it. I like playing it, but older games also had this weight to them. The sound design, vehicles, it's not there anymore. The map design is what kills BF6 for me. Awful, in my opinion. The graphics aren't what you can expect from a 2025 game. Map design is poor. Textures, colors, shading effects, and overall graphics are way below what you would expect from a 2025 Frostbite engine. Attention to detail is way below what we can see on the 9 years old Battlefield 1 on every little detail from map design to environment elements like fog, rain, and smoke. For example, the spawn map overview in Battlefield 1. We could see like a real-time view of what was really happening from enemies' position to vehicles' situation and destruction. On Battlefield 6, we have a poor presentation of that. This shows a downgrade in terms of dedication and attention to detail. BF1 is probably the best Battlefield game. It perfectly encapsulates the essence of what they envisioned with 1942. It was an actual battlefield, and in my opinion, as much as I love modern combat and Battlefield 4 and others, the historical Battlefield games have always been better. Their class structure makes more sense than in a modern setting, and the more limited weaponry puts the importance on team play and interactivity rather than what attachments you have unlocked for your weapon. Outside of much more hardcore games like Hell Let Loose, there likely won't ever be a multiplayer shooter as cinematic as Battlefield 1, while still remaining functional. Despite it going against the grain of what we were used to at the time with established classes and weapon customization and so on, the simpler nature of BF1 just proved that all people care about is that you make a game with integrity, that is fun to play. Honestly, I think Battlefield 1 is one of the greatest FPS games of all time. The immersion was next level. The graphics, sound, guns, environments, all of it combined to really feel like you were in this horrific historical global conflict. I think the game is so good that it transcends the Battlefield series, and even online FPS, and is one of gaming's most unique legend status games, the same way classic groundbreaking albums transcend their genre. Battlefield 6, in comparison, is a very fun and well-made Battlefield game, with the most generic standard, modern warfare setting that has been consistently represented in modern gaming for the last 20 years. It's hard to judge BF6 since we have the ability to look at the previous titles after their development lifecycle. But there's a reason why players prefer to play older Battlefield titles, because each game did have a specific theme and design to them, but retained the core elements of what makes a Battlefield game: infantry, vehicles, squad team play, and maps. To me, these are the core elements of a Battlefield game that each game has kept since the beginning of the series. But things get confusing and muddied when the devs try to add things that don't really fit well with the rest of the game. Let's use BF1 as an example. The devs understood that BF1 needed to be able to handle the experience of chaos, squad play, and most importantly, it needed to be fun to play. This is an overlooked aspect I think most games lose sight. The game needs to be fun to play, and keep that fun throughout the game. BF1 was fun because it was something new but familiar. It has intense moments, memorable maps, interesting gameplay design, and a specific art direction. It had a vision and focus that culminated in a game that could be experienced only in Battlefield. Battlefield 6 just oozes insecurity to me. The devs are telling us that they are returning to form, but I think they misunderstand how to do this. You don't replicate the formula, you have to rediscover it. It's the same trap many other forms of media fall into. You don't want to just remind the player of what was great. You have to rediscover the core again, especially after Battlefield 2042. And that takes vision and risk. I think BF6 is leaning in the right direction, but it is afraid to pick a lane. It wants to attract players of all types, but it doesn't offer anything specific other than it's a Battlefield game. The game is not focused on anything specific to me, but rather choosing to cater to as many as possible. But that sounds just as bland as it is generic. This game reminds me of Delta Force. It feels like a free-to-play game. I hope this game improves going forward and has a focus later on, but right now, it feels like a standard FPS game more than anything specific. And that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed my work, please show your love by giving it a like and considering subscribing. As always, thank you for your support.